said, what the hell is that shit? You fruit, you fruit, you fruit, you fruit. All right.
Warning. This video may contain graphic language, graphic violence, gross cartoon penises, and a whole lot of Pimpy the pimp-ass pimp showing motherfuckers what's up. Viewer discretion is advised.
What is going on out there, peeps? Oh yeah, I'm sure by now a lot of you have heard. Bud Light has partnered up with Dana White and the UFC, and people are losing their minds. If you don't understand why Bud Light is in so much trouble, and why it is that Dana White's company became so successful, we'll cover that here in just a moment. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button, and if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. You can follow me over on other platforms. I do have my own group over on Facebook called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here, we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. So head on over here and join us. It's free to do so. In here, I do post updates. If I should get on suspension from YouTube or get removed from YouTube and you want to know what happened to me, I'll let you know right here in this group. I can be found on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, and the cool thing about YouTube, if you come over here and you join and you find my channel, I got videos going back, I believe, a couple years. So if you want to see some older videos that I have on Nasera Jacera, gold, silver, cryptos, come on over here and join. Look me up and check out my videos. You can also find me on Odyssey. Catch me on Rumble. When I say that the links for all these are down below in the description, some of you don't know what I'm talking about. It's real simple. Just go down to the bottom right here of any of my videos. See this? This is the description. Hit show more. And there are all the links to all the platforms I just spoke about. Okay, unless you lived under a rock these last couple of years, then you must have heard about the controversy around Bud Light. Bud Light decided to partner up with a trans man named Dylan Mulvaney. And when they did that, all hell broke loose. America started boycotting the #1 beer in this country. The #1 beer being sold at sports arenas, the #1 beer being sold at frat parties. The boycott was on. It cost Bud Light hundreds of millions of dollars and Anheuser-Busch billions altogether, because people didn't just boycott Bud Light. They went after all their products. Now, I'm sure the thought process was people be mad for a minute, but eventually they'll come back. Who cares? That's not the case. This boycott has been going on for well over a year now, and Anheuser-Busch is on the brink of possible bankruptcy. So they need to do something to repair their image. They apologize for pushing this woke agenda. They promised not to do it again. They went back to trying to be a patriotic beer. The Clydesdale horses come out that they're famous for, and they're flying a flag in the background. But people just weren't having it any longer. It just looked cringy. It looked desperate that they came out with that type of commercial. For the most part, people weren't boycotting Bud Light because they had a trans spokesperson. I'm not trying to say that there wasn't some people out there that boycotted Bud Light for that reason. But the vast majority of people were just tired of this woke agenda being shoved on them. All of our sporting events are affected by it. Places we go, things we see, all pushing this stupid agenda that people don't want any part of. So when America's #1 beer decided to jump in that arena, people decided they've had enough, and they've been boycotting Bud Light ever since. So this partnership with Dana White and the UFC is very curious, to say the least. Dana White and the UFC started to gain popularity after their first season of The Ultimate Fighter on TV. But their popularity really took off in 2020 when sporting events were being shut down all over the United States so people can deal with the RONA. But Dana White didn't sit back quietly. No, he scoured the whole earth trying to find a place for his fighters to fight. Abu Dhabi, they told him he was welcome to fight there and there was no corona restrictions. So they opened up what they called Fight Island, and they allowed Dana White and UFC fighters to fight over there. And between most of our sporting events being shut down and those major supports pushing a woke agenda, people were looking for something else. Something they can watch to take their mind off their everyday hustle and bustle without every 5 seconds having this agenda shoved down their throat. Dana White and the UFC ended up being a perfect fit. They've managed to avoid the woke agenda thus far. Not to mention, Dana White is good friends with and a huge supporter of 45. Not only is Dana, but most of his fighters are huge supporters of Trump as well. When Trump goes to their sporting events, the cheers for Trump are so loud that it's deafening. You can often hear the announcers say they have a hard time hearing or even speaking to one another because the arena is cheering so loud. So that's why this move by Dana White is at the least very interesting, because the vast majority of the people that are supportive and watchers of the UFC are also supporters of 45 and against this woke agenda. Now, in all fairness to Bud Light, I'm not trying to stick up for them, but either they agreed to or they fell victim to this agenda movement. All these corporations got together and they agreed that they would have this ESG score, that if you didn't have a certain score, then your product wouldn't be supported. They would cut off any type of financing that you receive. And a lot of companies couldn't afford that, so they were forced to push this agenda. My opinion is they shouldn't have agreed to that type of agenda. And if things got that bad, all they had to do was turn to the American people, and American people would have supported them 100%. We've seen many people do that. Many people who have been cut off, smeared in the media, cancel culture attacking them, only to see them thrive even more. Many entertainers who supported 45 and were attacked, their songs went to #1. That was America's way of saying, we've got your back. So has Anheuser really learned their lesson? Are they really trying to rehab their image? I don't think so. I think right now they're trying to do whatever they can to try to recoup some of that financing because they are hurting pretty bad. But as soon as they get back on their feet, they'll turn around and do it again. That's just my opinion. But it is a smart move for them to partner up with Dana White and the UFC. If anybody can assist in this area, definitely Dana White can. But I can't imagine that he would agree to this partnership if they continue to push this woke agenda. But we'll soon find out. What America doesn't want to see is UFC and Dana White turn around and start going the woke agenda route as well. So my concern is that this company will sign this contract with Dana, and they're going to start demanding that the UFC and Dana White do certain things that their following is not going to agree with. Like I said, we'll find out soon enough. But remember, Dana doesn't own the UFC anymore. He's only the president. So I can see where sponsors start to get aboard with UFC and after a while start demanding the removal of Dana White because he's a huge supporter of 45. That's what these companies do. The people pushing this agenda are BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, and the Soros Foundation. They are the ones demanding that you have these high ESG scores, I guess is what they're called. And like I said, they've admitted that if you don't have a high score, they will find a way to make sure you don't get any financing from banks that they are invested in. You'll get no support. You won't be promoted with other businesses. They're going to attack you until you're bankrupt. Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, said it as clear as day. We are going to force people to do what we want. Those are his words. And that's how they're going about doing it. They own the majority shares in almost every major company in the United States. And they don't care about boycotting or anything else from people. Those three companies alone have more wealth than 50% of our GDP in this nation. How it is we allow them to get that powerful is mind-blowing to me, but something has to be done about that. Anyways, let's listen to what Dana White has to say about his reasoning and rationality behind this partnership.
Tonight, breaking news from outside the arena where UFC President Dana White, he just announced that Bud Light, yes, the Bud Light, will become the official beer partner of the league.
Speaking of Fox News, those companies were the reason why Tucker Carlson was fired. Right before Tucker Carlson was fired, BlackRock bought another 15% of the shares for Fox, and they demanded his firing. See, they're trying to silence those voices with huge followings who speak out against this agenda.
Is this a strong message from Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light that we've heard you loud and clear and we're getting back on track? Anyway, here with more on all of this brand new partnership is UFC President, CEO Dana White. Everybody knows who you are, Dana. No holds barred, kick ass, take no prisoners. I don't give an atom Schiff or in anybody's face. So they purposely went with you. Tell us about it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me start with, they were the first beer company that we really did business with. They're our first real big sponsor when we were getting started, and now we're back with them. And going into this deal, you know, I know all the controversy and everything else, but for myself, going into a long-term deal with another sponsor, I want to be with somebody that I'm actually aligned with. And I know people were upset with what they did, but I'm looking at all the good things that they do. You know, they employ 65,000 Americans. They have thousands of vets that work for them. They spend $700 million a year with U.S. farmers using their crops to make their products, and many, many other great things that Anheuser-Busch has done in this country. And those are the things that I'm focused on. When I look at a long-term sponsor that's going to be, we're going to do a 6-year deal here, I want to be with somebody that I'm aligned with. All those things that I just mentioned to you are what I'm all about. And not to mention, they have this thing called Folds of Honor. I'm very big into law enforcement and military. And over the last, I don't know how many years, they've spent like $45 million taking care of, you know, these servicemen and first responders who have died, taking care of their families, scholarships for their kids and things like that. So I am very aligned with Anheuser-Busch.
All right, let me be clear about a few things. There were other beer companies that wanted to partner with you, correct? You certainly, I know you don't need the money because you have more money than anyone could ever want in probably 4,000 lifetimes. So you didn't do it for the money. You didn't do it, you know, you did it for the reasons stated, but you also knew, and it's already happening on social media, that you'd be attacked. You'd be accused of selling out. I want you to respond to those people.
Well, let's be clear. When you do sponsorships, you definitely do sponsorships for the money, too. Money is definitely a part of it, but money was not the decision-making. You know, it wasn't the reason that I made the decision. All the things that I just told you are why. I mean, there's more to being aligned with a sponsor, a major sponsor like that, for as long as I'm going to be. You know, there are many other things that are important to me other than just the money. And the people that were all involved in this negotiation on every side absolutely positively know that my choice was not determined by money.
Yeah, I know that. You know, one of the things that I would say is, you know, when you factor in what you said about their support of the military, when you factor in that they support U.S. farmers, when you factor in, for me, the most important things, I knew it, and it did happen. I knew great people that work for Budweiser, once the beer sales slipped dramatically, because it was a strong message that, what the hell are you doing? Why are you diving into these cultural wars? It was stupid. Sorry, at that time, your new partner was being stupid. They should never have gotten into the political arena like that. But I do think, and I hope this, and I'm a Christian, I believe in second chances, forgiveness, right? I'm hoping that maybe for the sake of the people that need their career jobs back to pay their mortgages, car payments, rent, and need those career jobs and get their health insurance back, that maybe people might consider giving them another chance with the clear understanding if they screw up again like this, they're never coming back. And you might be the guy that's able to bridge that gap, maybe to give this company another chance and maybe give another look at it. And I know how much you were offered from other companies. It wasn't about the money. But, yeah, everything's about the money, but it's not. So I hope for the workers that it works out for them, because they were innocent victims in this, and they're good people that need those jobs. So I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, you know, that's what I say, too. And it's about, listen, like I said before, they run their business. They do their thing. They do a lot of great things. They do a lot of great things. They employ 65,000 people in this country. They take care of farmers. And did you know that when there's big disasters, they shut the plant down and they turn it into a water bottling facility? And they bottled like 100 million bottles of water that they've sent out to disaster areas. I'm going to focus on the good that they do. We are very aligned in many different areas, and that's why they're going to be my partner for the next 6 years.
There's a couple of things about this. First of all, if you haven't figured it out by now, you have to be careful about the company you work for. There's a culture war happening right now, and there's always a good chance that the company you work for is affected by it one way or the other. That's just a reality of things. I mean, give me a break. We got lawyers out there that were representing 45, and their firms were threatened. Their clients were threatened. Their families were threatened. This is a legitimate war that's taking place. This is the reality of things. The people pushing this agenda are willing to go that far. So you got to be careful about who it is you go work for, or at the very least, understand there could be repercussions if you work for certain companies. So I hope Dana knows what he is doing, because I'm anticipating these sponsors are going to want him to push this agenda, and if he refuses, are going to find a way to remove him as president and turn the UFC into some woke company just like all the rest. Is this a smart move by Bud Light? Will they be able to repair their image and stay out of this woke agenda? Or do you think they're just trying to do a quick repair and they'll go right back to doing what they did before, while at the same time dragging UFC into this wokeness as well? Let me know what you think. I look forward to hearing from you. I'm out.